4 games this weekend, and I never thought in a million years I would say that West Ham is the top-ranked team. Hello and welcome to All Balls, a show that keeps you up to date with all the Premier League action and fantasy football tips. I have with me today Statman and my better half from the All Balls team, Kyle Pereira. Kyle, how is it going?
Good.
Finally getting the fame you deserve.
Of course.
Can't wipe the smile off your face with 3 monkeys behind the camera laughing at you.
From behind the camera.
All the Bharatnatyam you've done, I'll remove today. You wait.
Come on.
But yes, how's it been going? Writing stats, breaking protocol, not sleeping at night, coming with a sulky face early morning.
Daylight savings, bro.
Daylight save? What you're saving? Save energy, no? Daylight and all you're saying. That's not your job. But coming to your job, Fulham versus Leeds, our first game.
At Craven Cottage.
Oh, you wrote it right this time.
Of course.
But let's start with Bamford. Bielsa saying he's fit. Didn't look good last game. Not scored for a while.
Not scored for a while, but he's one of those strikers that you play the ball into him and he kind of finishes.
But he's been their only link.
Yeah, but having said that, Patrick Bamford gets fed the ball so often, but he still doesn't finish any goal. He's the most played striker to receive the ball in open play, but not finish the goal.
Recently, you can say that, but then again, he started off well. He's one of those FPL players where at his price, you wouldn't mind him not firing for a couple of games.
Yeah, but with the Euros coming, you'd expect a striker.
You reach Euros now, 9 games are left.
Yeah, but still, Gareth Southgate's going to name his squad anytime soon.
I don't think he's coming in with the players there.
I don't think so either.
But back to Fulham, if they win, probably out of relegation.
Since
depending on the results above them. But they've done well to put themselves in a position where they can actually now fight it out and maybe survive.
Yeah.
And considering that Leeds has, a good record versus the bottom 3, where do you see this game going?
Honestly, it could end as a draw also because both teams look like they want to prove a point. Leeds need to actually come out of it with a win rather. And Fulham desperately need to get out of relegation zone.
Because who will the draw favour more? Who will be the happier team with the point?
Obviously Fulham, because they're going to come out of relegation, put either Burnley or Brighton back into the relegation zone. But I think if Scott Parker picks a good striker, maybe a Josh Maja to play in that role, and they do end up scoring a goal, they could look at winning this game because, like you said, Leeds are really vulnerable at the back.
They're vulnerable at the back and in the middle. But if Fulham score, that takes the chance away from, Meslier to get the title of the youngest goalkeeper to keep 10 clean sheets. Of course, he has a few more games, but...
But having said that, even though he's such a young keeper, he's keeping an experienced keeper like Kiko Casilla out. And on the bench, they paid a lot of money for a small team like Leeds to keep him. And Meslier, who's a young keeper, is keeping an experienced Champions League winner keeper on the bench.
Since you're smiling in the middle, what is your prediction?
I like to go 2-2. No.
Why? Who you have in FPL?
Bamford, obviously.
So draw?
Draw. For sure, draw.
Okay, smile. Our next game at Amex is as boring as my co-host before noon. Brighton versus Newcastle. Brighton the better team.
Newcastle a boring team to be honest.
That is there without French Toast and Callum Wilson.
Newcastle is a really boring team. Like Steve Bruce doesn't have a plan.
He's out of ideas. He's burnt out.
He doesn't have a plan going into any of these games. He just 1 goal I'll go for, 2 goals I'll go for, and then I'll sit back.
But is it the form? Is it the position on the table? Or is it just the fact that he's missing key players?
Honestly, I don't even know what it is about because Steve Bruce's teams are genuinely like this. They just play on set pieces.
But they're good at the back.
Yeah, but they play on set pieces. That's why the defenders can head the ball. Like Jamal Lascelles, he scored that goal against Aston Villa in the dying minutes because of this reason. That's the only reason Newcastle get these points. That's the only reason Steve Bruce teams get these points.
And it's quite sad because he was their top scorer on the pitch, considering that Almiron and Callum Wilson weren't playing.
Exactly. And they have players like Joe Willock from Arsenal on loan. They should be playing him week in and week out.
Andy Carroll's not being used if they're playing the whole set piece and aerial ball thing. But Brighton, on the other hand, have done well this season, keeping away their position on the table. They've not been hammered. Most of the big teams have been hammered. They're unbeaten against Newcastle. looking for their first double, ever since you were born in 78. But, I mean, they look the better team. They seem more likely to get out of the relegation battle as compared to Newcastle. Because, like they've said on the show, this is probably a 6-pointer. If not a 3-pointer. A draw will not help anybody.
But even I'm going for a Brighton win on this because I see Graham Potter outsmarting Steve Bruce on this one because Graham Potter knows how to attack that goal. You saw against the Liverpool game also, he knows how to go for that goal. They may not be able to score it because, I mean, let's be honest, Neil Maupay and Danny Welbeck are not like the greatest strikers in the world.
But they'll get their goal here.
They'll get their goal. Even McAllister's there to get in their goal.
There's Trossard, there's Solly March. They have a lot of creativity over there.
Play around with. Even Ben White, even though
which is what I was coming to.
Even though he's a defender, he can counter and go straight for that ball.
And to counter Newcastle's aerial threat, they have the Dan Burns, the Dunks, the Whites at the back. And Sanchez obviously will be confident with his call-up for the international team.
Yeah,
so,
he would be.
3-0, 4-0, 5-0, Brighton?
No, I don't think 3-0 or 4-0. Maybe a 1-0 or a 2-0.
That's it? So, Newcastle's not scoring for sure?
See, honestly, if Alan Saint-Maximin starts, he's going to run through that defense. If he doesn't, I don't think that's going to happen. Derby up next at the London Stadium. West Ham versus Arsenal.
I'm not sure which one to hate more. David Moyes or Arsenal. But there are two digits to be had here. One is 4 and one is 13. West Ham looking for the 4th straight home win since May 2002. And this is only the 4th time they are playing Arsenal when they sit above them in the table, which is something you don't hear too often. But Arsenal's coming off a big win. West Ham is coming off a loss.
True. But
not a bad loss.
But you do realize Arsenal's coming off a shittier win, right?
Arsenal's coming off, I mean, a very lucky win, I would say.
Extremely lucky
the win. The spirit of that bald man in your beanbag who was yelling VAR, VAR all the time. But Arsenal do seem to get the better of these derbies.
True.
They've got 13 points in London derbies. They've beaten West Ham the most, which is 13 times, which was the 2nd digit. But West Ham this season look a completely different outfit.
Yeah.
With Lingard in there, with Antonio firing, the defense being strong. Don't worry, I'm not going to say Upson again. But, so, with Noble not playing is the biggest thing. Souček and Rice are running that midfield.
But that is the most underrated midfield in the Premier League.
But now compare that to Partey and Xhaka.
I would take Declan Rice over any midfielder right now in the Premier League.
Not Kante, but maybe.
Yes, over Kante also, because Declan Rice can spread the ball to either ends of the field, and he can come back and attack, and he can go. I mean, he can go forward and attack, and come back on defense.
But I just feel that Arsenal do not now, maybe in Odegaard or Smith Rowe, but they do not have that force running through the middle. They don't have a Yaya Toure. They don't have a Pogba. They don't have probably a Wijnaldum.
I mean, but Thomas Partey can do the work.
But he's not. He's not in form. He's just come off injury. He's not performing. He doesn't tend to finish 90 minutes.
True.
So physically, I feel West Ham are a better side than Arsenal in terms of strength, stamina, just their ability to control a game this season.
I mean, it's because of the players that David Moyes has in his team.
And it's how they're playing. They're playing for the manager.
Exactly, they're playing for the manager. And I mean, again, I'm saying this, the most underrated midfield in the Premier League right now. Their numbers are ridiculous on interceptions, on most clearances, on like just tackles in and around the box.
Now I know why you don't sleep at night. But ex-Arsenal keeper, keeping a clean sheet against his former side.
Oof, hard to say. I mean, hard to say only because watching Emile Smith Rowe last weekend, he smashed that post like two.
He has a good shot on him.
Very good shots, and to hit the post on like 30 yards out, 20 yards out is pretty impressive coming from a youngster like him. Come through the academy, so.
I mean, yeah, he's almost 1/3 your age. But again, let's go to prediction. Which one's picking this up?
Honestly, I think West Ham. Antonio's fit. He didn't score the last game.
He scores alternate games.
I'm hoping he's going to score this weekend. But I think it'll be 3-0 or 3-1 maybe.
No, I'll go for Arsenal. I think they get the better in the derbies.
Do you think? Don't know.
The Giant Killers welcome Spurs to Villa Park.
The Giant Killers.
I hate Jose.
I hate Jose
I
more.
want him to lose.
No, yo, I hate Jose way more. I thought I hated Pep earlier, but I hate Jose way more.
I don't hate Pep. Why do you hate Pep?
Because he rotates his team so often.
What is that a reason to hate or demented or?
FPL gets screwed
Are
up.
so what? He'll play for the title or he'll play for your FPL?
He plays for my FPL.
Why?
I have players on the line, yeah? Mahrez, Gundogan.
Oh my god, and your FPL is so important, you're still 23 places below me. But 10th defeat for Spurs if they lose this season.
Yeah.
Very rare for a Jose side. Even if he's not doing well.
Extremely rare for a Jose side.
100 goals scored was rare for a Jose side, but the 10th defeat. You know, and concerns over Son, probably fit, not sure.
I mean, who's going to play in that position?
They have Bergwijn, they have Lucas Moura, they have Gareth Bale.
Yeah, but
of course he's coming off a hat-trick in recent games, but...
Who's Bale? Bale created 0 chances.
In one game, no? I'm saying before that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Bale kind of disappointed me in the last game. I had really high hopes for him. He's the proven player in the North London derby. He really disappointed me in that game. I mean, you had most of the ball. You couldn't make a diagonal play. You couldn't make a through ball. You couldn't make a key pass. Harry Kane is waiting for you to make that key pass.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you come into derbies, right? You're under pressure. But there are other players. There are Bergwijns, there's the Lucas Moura, there's a Harry Kane who scored 5.
But Bale is the biggest player in that squad.
I disagree. I don't think he's the biggest player this season in that squad.
Yo, he is the big man for the big occasion.
He's big man for big occasion. Probably when he left Spurs, when he's come back, it's not the same pace. It's not the same aggression. It's not the same confidence.
I don't think Mourinho is the person to get Bale back to where he was.
I mean, Zizou wasn't either. So who is the person? Send him to Aston Villa. Let Dean Smith get the best out of him like he got out of Grealish. He got out of Watkins.
But actually saying that it could actually work that way. Because if you see, even like for a Zaha was terrible at United. He was
but these are
terrible
players
at
who
United.
perform well at small clubs rather like a Lingard, a Keane, a Zaha. Bale is a proven player at Real Madrid. He fell out with the manager. He's come to Spurs. There is probably the most complicated love story between him and Jose.
Of course.
You know, he's performing well in one game, not performing well in one game, pretty much like your expressions between segments. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't see Spurs coming out of this only because Grealish is probably back. Villa are great at the back. Spurs do not know how to break down a defense when teams are not coming at them. They like to play on the counter-attack. Kane might have had all his goals and assists this season, must be in the top 5 leagues, Falana Dimkana said and done.
Yeah.
But if a defense sits in there as tight as an Aston Villa,
they sit in really tight. And
I don't see the Spurs breaking them down.
I mean, even their new player Sanson,
yes.
I mean, he's really good because he has Douglas Luiz is just at the back and he can move around on either side.
Exactly. He's a Thiago Motta and a Verratti when they were at their prime at PSG.
Exactly.
So I see Spurs coming out with nothing. I want to know what you think.
I mean, honestly, I think Spurs are going to come out with all 3 points.
Which is why I asked you what you think, and this proves he doesn't think. But
I do think about this, man. But I honestly think it's going to be a Harry Kane show because he was pumped for that North London derby.
Will you take me out for candlelight dinner if Villa wins?
No chance.
Why? You just said Spurs win, so you owe me dinner, no, if they lose.
Who said I owe you anything?
Why? But Spurs win, no, it's a bet on camera.
It's not a bet.
Candlelight dinner, you will wear a red maxi or a spaghetti.
It's not a bet.
Come on, guys.
It's a bet if you want to say Bale scores a hat-trick.
Fine. I say he won't.
I'll say he will.
Balls. Brighton and Newcastle looking to save their season. West Ham looking to secure Europe. And Arsenal looking to save face. That's it for this smallest roundup of the game week. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. Stay safe.